Guys, Redbeard here. It's Wednesday night. I can't even remember what day it is. So I took last night off, did some work on the house plans and whatnot, and looked up some parts. Good news is, like stuff like starter, power steering pump, AC compressor, all that seems to be fairly off the shelf. It doesn't look like any big challenge to round up. One holdup I do still have are these upper engine mounts. So where I'm at, I looked at a lot of designs. There is an aftermarket company making a set for like $600. I looked at it. It's cool. It would be nice to have a bolt up, but I don't know if $600 cool. So I was sitting here thinking tonight, and I come up with an idea on how I'm going to do this. Let me back up just a little bit. I went in and threw the oil pan back on, reassembled that. Nothing's torqued. Just put it on to keep dirt and debris out. Obviously, I don't want dirt getting down the oil pump or anything like that. So anyway, this crack does run through the fill plug. On the inside it looks repairable. On the outside it's going to be very tricky. I just don't know. So my two options are to go ahead and get the aluminum spool gun for my welder, which I need to get anyway, and I could give it a shot. Problem with that is if it does still leak when I'm done, it's going to be in the vehicle and operational by the time I'll know. So I'm a little hesitant on that one. I did find a new old stock at a really good deal on eBay. I may go ahead and order that. So this is just the 8.5 quart sump. It's not the 10 quart. I don't know that I can get the 10 quart in here if there's any real need for that. We're not going to be, it's a Ram Charger. So while I want it to be kind of sporty, it's not going to be Viper sporty. So I'm not too worried about oil starvation or anything. Plate was actually baffled better than I figured it was anyway. So I just threw a little silicone over that crack to keep dirt and debris out for the time being, while I think about which way I need to go. This right here will work for mock-up and everything, and when I pull everything out for final assembly before I go to start anyway, so it's not that big deal. We're going to have more work to do on this engine closer to time. But what I did come up with was a plan for these motor mounts. So if you see how this motor mount is here, it saddles over this, you through bolt it, and then the motor mount actually sits out here. So what I got to do is build something that rests and holds support on this lip here, and allow the bolts to come through. But the main thing is I really want to make sure I get as much support on this lip as I can. So what I came up with, I've got some more of that 2-inch quarter wall angle iron, and if I rip it down to 4-inch chunks, I can set that over and it will sit in there good. And then I'll take a bolt, shove it through, mark the bolt holes, drill it, and then what I'll do is rip another piece for this side. Now the problem comes in, of course, it won't sit flat because it's too wide. So what I'll be able to do at that point though is mark it, rip this one with the bandsaw, get the width right, through bolt it together, get everything square, flush, level. I got the rotisserie, I can get it all level, and then I'll tack them in place and tack that seam. And then what I'll do is go ahead and fill weld it, bevel it down good, fill weld it, and once I get that done, I'll have enough room to offset and bolt the motor mount up through here. So basically I'll build a box type mount here and then put a plate across the front so it can't slip. And then when I get the actual motor mounts, when I get the subframe, figure out the placement, all that, I can come back through, drill this, bolt the motor mount to this, bolt this whole assembly back to the engine, and then mark my K-brace and build my bracket for the lower end of the mount as well. So it's kind of the route I'm looking at going. I think that's going to work out just fine, and I feel that this is going to be plenty of support for this 500-pound engine. All dressed out, maybe we're a little over 500, but we will have a tranny mount and these two mounts on here. I think we're going to be okay, and that's kind of what I'm looking at doing. But anyway, guys, that's what we're going to work on tonight, is getting this built up, and I'm going to be using my low-speed chop saw, chopping this down to 4 inches. We'll worry about squaring it all up and buffing it, making it look nice when we get done. But the main thing is getting those bolt holes right, and I'm debating on trying to rip this down to make it sit lower, but I don't think that's going to be a big issue. With the size of this oil pan, I'm going to have plenty of room to get a motor mount in there. I'll cross that bridge when the time comes. So my goal right now is to leave this a full 2-inch height, And that's going to give me room to get in here and through bolt the stud on the back side. And I should have plenty of clearance. As long as I'm between the bolt holes, I'm going to have nearly 2 inches of clearance inside of there, the way this is built. And that should all work out pretty good for me. So that's the plan, guys. That's kind of where we're at. Thought it was going to be more of a hurdle. And who knows how it's going to end up, right? But this is the route I'm going, and we'll see how it looks when I get done. I may hate it and have to redo it, but I think it's going to be okay. Anyway, guys, thanks for following along. Hope you're enjoying it, and we'll see how this goes. Hey guys, look, we got this thing rolled up here. So it's a very odd design for a motor mount. I've never seen anything like it. It's, just get a bolt here to show you a little demo. These bolts sit right here within maybe about 1/8 of an inch from the block. I mean, there is no room. Now it is cast, it's pretty heavy duty. I don't think it can flex. This one up here, there's no way it can flex. Hey, the engine was built on October 23rd, 2001. Anyway, Alcoa aluminum. Look at that, finding all kinds of stamps. But this is what we were looking at doing, okay? So we're going to take these 2 pieces of angle iron and let them basically ride on that shoulder. See that shoulder right there? My goal was to transfer as much load as possible onto that shoulder. So that's what that's what we set out to do, right? And let's see how we did. So we went from this, and we went from that to that right there, guys. That is bolted in and tight. I need to get the proper length bolts. I did shim these out with a 1/2 inch nut. 2 3/8 bolts fit tight in there. And man, you got a good flat surface. Going to be an easy place to punch a hole through to do an axle. The rubber part of the motor mount, probably do poly. But anyway, that's where we're at. Man, I really didn't have to waller the holes or anything, and they do fit really nicely on the on those shoulders. So look, guys, short video tonight. I just want to show you what it looked like. We got one done. Faced my fears. I really didn't want to do that. I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot more stuff I got to do that I really am nervous about doing on this engine. The end product's going to, I think it's going to be worth it. So when you look at this here, you know, something to spread this a little bit might not hurt, but I don't know how we're going to crush it. It is 1/4 inch wall, 2 inch angle that's been ripped and re-welded, and it fits snug. Like, I beveled the edges and had to rubber hammer it. Not like hammer it, but I had to like massage it into place there. So we're in pretty good shape on that, I feel. I think this is going to work. I think it's going to work. So we'll put a poly mount in between here, and we'll fab up a mount on that Hellcat subframe this is going to be sitting on. I should have more flexibility on that because this is this is probably a much deeper pan and block assembly than what that 6.2 is. I would imagine it sits a little bit higher looking at pictures. I don't have one side by side. If I did, I'd just be running the 6.2. But anyway, that's where we're at. That's what we're working on. So that's it, guys. Keep following along. I appreciate it. And next time we check in, we'll have the other side done. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? I mean, don't look at it too close. But look at it from a distance. It's pretty sweet. Thanks, guys.